James Wahlberg. I find the RPF morbidly fascinating. My question is exactly where is the RPF? There must be more than one building where these people are housed. How many of these facilities are there, and are they just in LA and Clearwater? Are they nondescript buildings, or are they identified with the Scientology logo? I assume that celebrities are treated differently when they are in the RPF than the rank and file. What kind of things do celebrities have to do in the RPF? Okay, James, thanks for asking this question here. And you, like others in the past, have expressed in your question some false information, which I want to clarify first. Celebrities never do the RPF. The Rehabilitation Project Force, or RPF, is a Sea Org only activity. There have been exceptions in the distant past, back in the 70s and I think 80s. There were a few staff who were put on RPF like programs, or, in a couple of cases, just thrown straight onto the RPF. But that was wildly rare and wildly not what Hubbard said to do or how to do it, which is why it never continued. The RPF is not for people who are not in the Sea Org. You have to get there. You have to be assigned to it, and it's a full-time operation. So, I mean, you're giving up everything when you're on it, and you're already in the Sea Org, where you've already given up all of the outside world. You're not in the outside world anymore. You're in the Sea Org, and the Sea Org is a very cloistered bubble world environment. The RPF is a bubble world within that bubble world. So no celebrity's ever going to get in there. We used to be told when I was on the RPF that there are public Scientologists who actually offered to pay to do the RPF. Now, whether that was just some lone nutter or there's actually some contingent of public Scientologists who think it would be good for them to do an RPF program, I don't know. I literally just told you everything we were told, but that's nuts, and no public were ever allowed to pay for it and do it. So now the RPF is a disciplinary and rehabilitation program in order to get a Sea Org member's head on straight and get him back with the program after he's broken the rules or gone so far off the rails that he is what is considered in a situation of treason to the Sea Org. That's how bad you got to screw up. You don't just say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, generally speaking, and end up on the RPF. You got to really mess up. Or violate some very important rules. For example, having sex out of wedlock, or having sex with a non-Sea Org member, or any kind of weird activity like that, which is, what happened to me. And that'll get you on the RPF just like that. Now I think they just kick you out. The original policy on the matter was that if you had had sexual peccadillos, I think the word is, then you get beached. You're just supposed to get kicked out, thrown off symbolically to the closest beach off the ship. But they didn't do that. They put most people, me included, like I said, on the RPF. Other things that will land you there are breaking things to a marked degree, creating a huge shore flap or problem for Scientology somehow. Like, for example, there was an event happening one time. The sound went out. David Miscavige's face was all across the screen, and no sound was coming out. And people in the audience were, what's going on? It went on for an extended period of time. Senior executives got involved. What's going on? Well, 3 people went to the RPF that night because of that. So that is the kind of thing that'll get you there. The RPF is meant to be a program, a series of actions that you do with another person in order to rehabilitate them. They rehabilitate you. It's a twinned operation. You work with somebody else, they work with you. Their job is to get you better. Your job is to get them better. So that's the program in a nutshell. I could get into all the specifics of what you do, but I've already laid all that stuff out in earlier videos, and I encourage you to check all that out. Now, as far as where it's located, well, we're hearing that there is no RPF these days. I don't totally believe that, but, that's what we keep being told. I'll show you on this picture, Big Blue here with that little arrow, where I did the RPF. It was on the bottom 2 floors of this wing of the Big Blue building. That's where the RPF was located. Are they still there? I don't know. Not if there's no RPF. At Flag, I don't know where the RPF was located. I'm not familiar enough with the Clearwater base and its layout to know exactly precisely where the RPF was or is located there. but it would be somewhere in the downtown Clearwater area where they have everybody, where they have people birth and stuff. Um, or at least that's where they might be doing their work, where they might live. See, Clearwater is a lot more broken up and laid out. So I don't really know. So I just know that they would be bussed, or transported around to wherever their work sites are, and that's where they would do their work. And as far as where they do their rehabilitation steps, I don't know, someplace way away from wherever the public are and sequestered away from the rest of the crew as well. So wherever it's going to be someplace that's going to be special for that. And just in case there is any other confusion about this, all the stories you've heard about the hole that David Miscavige set up in the double wide trailers at the Gold Base, where he kept people prisoner with bars on the windows, locked doors, security guards, etc. That is not the RPF. That was Miscavige's own invention, and that was actually probably the one thing in Scientology that's worse than the RPF was the hole. And as far as we know, that's no longer instituted the same way that it had been. But all those people who were in the hole are still, if they're still in the Sea Org and they're still alive, they're still being screwed around with. So that's what I can tell you about all that.